Okay, folks, part two of laminating these plates and vacuum pressing and also the sides. So let's get to the sides. We'll get that out of the way and we'll see how this goes. Okay, so again, 1/16 of an inch, and this is just happens to be maple. And what I do is laminate, okay, two of these. And then, of course, your outer face. Now, I suppose you could do just two of these and call it a day, but okay. And you take them to the bending iron. Okay, so a great way to learn as well. It's 0.06, something like that. Okay, so it's really pliable. Great way to learn how to bend wood anyway. And it's actually thinner than like it's 0.085 for the sides, basically. 3/32 or whatever. Okay, so these need to be bent, two of them. Okay, and then what you want to do on the outer face, and I did this just for a reference, is I don't know if you can see that. Okay, so the outer face again is that 42nd inch veneer, maple veneer. Okay, and you draw these reference lines before you bend. And you only need it on the outside one. I just did this for the reference. Okay. You do this obviously, before you bend the wood into shape. Okay? So that when everything is glued up and it's dried up and everything has its shape, you have a reference point to take to your sanding belt. Okay? And sand that all down to where however wide you want your sides, okay? So at least you have a reference now. You'll have a straight, your sides will be straight, okay? And this forms really rigid. I mean, two layers of 1/16 of an inch, and then this. It's solid. You put it in a form, let it sit overnight, kind of thing, and you're good to go. Okay, here's how you do. Again, you have to do your homework with this stuff, okay? So these are bent, right? They go into a form, and as you can see, I've got a couple of clamping calls here. Made out of MDF, okay? So, oh, by the way, okay, this, believe it or not, is binding material, okay? If you know where to get it because you get it on a regular basis, not because you're going to send me on a wild goose chase. If you know where to get, Leathertone used to sell this. This is, believe it or not, this is a white 0.03, whatever it is, ABS. Leathertone used to make this in Rhode Island. They don't anymore. I don't know who distributes this, manufactures it, whatever. If you know where to get this stuff, it used to come in 2x4 sheets. If you know where to get it, let me know in the comments section, okay? Because I don't know where to get any more of this. Okay. So what I do is I put this on the inside in my form so the wood doesn't get glued to the form, right? Okay. Complies really nice. Then you have your clamping calls, okay? And you have two layers of this and this sandwiched in there. Now you can use another one of these, but I find that, and I have what I have on there is like 1/2 inch, used to be floor mat or something. I cut it up and put it on the inside of the calls so that when you clamp it in there, gives it a little leeway, a little flex, okay? So that's the sides, and I leave it like overnight or whatever, and you're good to go. And they're strong, and light, and it's good to go. All right, so now we're going to get to, I've taken the liberty of doing some of this. You don't need to see me joint this stuff, okay? And you don't need to see me, okay, I did also the faceplate. We're going to get to that in a second. Okay, so this is maple, and I've decided to go with 2 layers of maple and a faceplate of mahogany, okay? So what we're going to do right now is we're going to tape this up. I should have my glasses on. So we're basically book matching this, right? But you don't worry about, unless it's a faceplate, you don't worry about exact book. You know, you're not going to see this stuff, okay? Okay, so we've taped it up on this side. We're going to flip it over, okay? Just get it like a half-inch ply, whatever, just a piece of wood. Now we're going to flip it over this way, right? So now you've created a sort of like a trough here, right? I'm going to try to create something like that. Okay. Simple, right? Super glue. Right down the center. Come on, here we go. Now you want to make sure you got a piece of tape on your work surface. Right? Okay. Accelerator. Right? First you want to take a paper towel, just run, because you don't want a lot of excess super glue. Right? Okay, deep breath, okay. And just walk away. Okay, now you've just, okay, then flip it over. See, and that's why you want a piece of tape on your work surface, because it does run through. Okay. Come on. Oh, really? Okay, and so what you're going to do is whack it again on this side. Paper towel. See, it will stick to, so have a piece of tape underneath. Okay, boom. You know you're done, right? Just let it dry for a little bit. You're good to go. All right, so I've taken the liberty also to do this earlier. Now you have to sand that down, okay, and you know, cut it to, basically cut it to shape. Okay, so here's what I've done with this one, because that maple is kind of a pain to work with. And so here's what I've done. Okay, now this is about, oh, I don't know, 5-6 inches. No, maybe not. You know, 4 inches. What do we got? Yeah, 4 inches. Okay, and this is about 3/16 of an inch, right? And what I've done here is kind of made like a little diamond shape right there. And I'll show you why. Where's my form? Here we go. My mold. Okay, so let me see if I can. Okay. Once you get stuff that's it tends to buckle or whatever. Okay, so once you get that vacuum pressed, that is going to close up on you, and if it doesn't comply with that sort of force or the crushing of the fibers or whatever, it's going to buckle, right? And the reason for that little diamond shape right here is that when that sort of rotates to close, it will form a dimple right there. And so once that rotates and closes, that will close right up on you. Not so much a dimple, and then, you know, just you feel it later on. But this is going to be on the inside. This is your first plate, okay? And that's the reason for all the tape on here, right? So it doesn't get glued to my form. Okay, so that would be on the inside plate, okay? If you were to do 3 layers of either maple or mahogany, whatever, I would do this just on the middle plate, okay? Another thing about doing 3 layers on the mahogany, okay, it's quarter sawn, okay? So the first 2 would be fine, you know, if it's quarter sawn here, okay. The middle layer, I turn somewhat askew. So it's maybe a 10, 20 degree angle. So the grain is running sort of slanted this way. So I think it just gives it a little more stability, a little more structure, or probably a little more strength, you know. And I suppose with some weird sort of forces or whatever, or maybe not, just being strung up for a long time, it may tend to crack. I don't know. So I you know, it's not 90 degrees, it's not 40, it's probably like 30 degrees or whatever to the quarter. So I think it just adds a little more strength. So that's the middle layer. This is pretty much, the maple is pretty much flat sawn, so I don't worry about that too much. Okay, so I think we're done, and now we're just going to go to the glue up. Okay.